Tuesday tells with the $sign at the end of the tells. Replace the S with the $sign. This is the time to lock in. We look ahead to all things NFL Week 4. We talk about where the number opened, where we're at on a Tuesday, and, of course, where we will be at come Sunday at kick, Thursday as well. You know the dance. So let's have some fun here. We open up Thursday Night Football. We got the Cardinals and the Seahawks, Sean Barnard. The Cardinals at home opened up as a 2.5-point favorite, flipped. Seahawks are now favored 1.5. It's looking like most shops. DraftKings, more importantly here, has the Seahawks currently as a 1.5 favorite. What's that telling you?
I think they're on the right side now, that I do think the Seahawks are deservingly the favorite in this game. And I think it was impossible not to be impressed by the level that they poured on points this weekend to really change things there. I don't think Seattle's like good in the mix. I don't think they're quite that caliber, but I certainly don't think the Cardinals are either. I think that there's a lot more of a good baseline with the Seahawks team than I feel about Arizona. Sign me up for the Seahawks taking care of business and covering that spread there.
Yeah, Seahawks was one of my survivor pool plays, and that was an easy one. Again, I think you have to look at the opponent more than anything right now, and if they're playing the New Orleans Saints, which, oh, by the way, the Buffalo Bills are, you should probably take a flyer on them to win that game. But Seattle has come out and looked impressive, specifically throwing the football. You got Njigba, who's doing big things. He had a touchdown. You got Cooper Kupp, who's getting in the mix, who hasn't done a lot, but still they're slinging it right now. Sam Darnold, 14 of 18, 218, 2 touchdowns in that game. Nice victory by the Seahawks there. All right, next game up, Vikings and Steelers here. Carson Wentz looked pretty good back there for the Minnesota Vikings.
Upgrade a quarterback from J.J. McCarthy, potentially?
After one game?
Have pretty much similar sample size what we got from JJ so far.
Yeah, I just feel like we know what Carson Wentz is at this point in time.
I kind of think we know what JJ McCarthy is.
Oh, come on. He's played 2 games and it's moving fast for him. He's got more intangibles, more athleticism than Carson Wentz. No doubt about that. I don't know if that's what you want right now, but look, Kevin O'Connell's got to wear a little of that too. Wasn't he the chosen one?
Seemingly, I don't know. I think Carson definitely has a better arm. I'm just not a JJ McCarthy.
You think Carson Wentz has a better arm than JJ McCarthy?
Like, definitely.
No.
Arm strength was never a problem for Carson Wentz. It was decision making. It was holding on to the ball. There's a ton of other stuff.
JJ's got a rifle, I feel like.
So does Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz has a cannon.
Carson Wentz 30. How old is he? 30, 32?
Are we sure that JJ McCarthy can throw the ball 50 plus yards? Because we haven't seen it in the NFL yet.
Come on, man.
We haven't seen it at Michigan either.
All right. Well, I was never a diehard J.J. McCarthy fan, but the Minnesota Vikings clearly were. And I don't think you can start him and then expect greatness from a rookie quarterback. I get it, second year. Carson Wentz was brought in to be the backup. So I think we already know our answer there, regardless of what takes place in Ireland at 9:30 on Sunday. Steelers and Vikings. This one opened up Vikings as a 1.5 favorite, looking like 2.5 right now.
Yeah, I don't love the direction for either side here. I'd probably go with Pittsburgh in this just because I think you can catch lightning in a bottle once with a backup quarterback, and that sort of felt like the case with Minnesota. I also think way too much positivity was brought about Jake Browning coming into that game. Yeah. Like, what are we doing here? Trying to talk about this guy like he could be a solution. He's Jake Browning at the end of the day. He's a backup quarterback for a reason there. I get that Carson Wentz is in a much different outlook there, but there just is like a baseline of expectations for a Minnesota offense there that I do think translates. Ultimately, I think Pittsburgh's going to be able to mess this game up, make it physical, and have enough to get the victory, but I think it's going to be a sloppy game of football.
All right, Eagles and Bucks, a game we've already discussed a lot, but it did open up Birds as a 1.5 favorite. Most shops are showing 3.5. It's not what I'm seeing right now at DraftKings, so we'll just say an even 3, a flat 3, not an even. Actually bumped up. Now DraftKings 3.5. Eagles favored here. Money coming on the Birds. Maybe they were listening to JP because he made me a believer in the Birds winning that game. And that line is absolutely telling you that the Birds are going to come out on top. Your thoughts, though, Sean? What's this one telling you?
Yeah, I'm nervous about this one from an Eagles perspective. I won't lie. I think the Bucs
should be.
Yeah. Not only have the Eagles had direct trouble with this matchup, I think the Bucs need to be talked about like a legitimate contender in the way that they're not right now in the NFC. I get that the Lions are there. I get that the Eagles are there. Who else can you legitimately look me in the eyes right now and tell me you have a better chance than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Because I don't think there's another answer above them there. You want to make the Commanders case? You want to make the Packers? I guess you can have that conversation. I still think Tampa Bay is the real deal, man. That offense is something special. I think the outcome of this game this week depends on which side of the playbook they lean on, meaning the first half of last week or the second half of last week. If they come out guns blazing, if they're ready to meet that level of offensive production, the Eagles can win this football game. If you're trying to play conservative and soak up clock and run the football, I think you're going to get the short end of the stick, and this is a team that will give them their lesson.
I'd say the 49ers before Bosa went down would be a team that I would look at. I'd say the Rams too. I'd have to, right? Like, I get it. They played a bad half.
Yeah.
They were pretty good in that first half. Got to find the even mix if you can. Easier said than done, though. Only 3 games in. You're right, though. I could get down with the Tampa Bay Bucks love, and it wouldn't shock me if they're in the NFC Championship game, Sean Barnard. All right, next one up, as I pointed out, the Buffalo Bills will probably be my survivor pool play. They're at home. This one opened up at 12.5. Now 16.5-point favorites against New Orleans Saints. Not a lot of breakdown needed here. Your thoughts, though?
I think the Saints are that bad that it's kind of a stay away spot for me.
Yeah.
I can't, in good faith, back the New Orleans Saints pretty much in any individual matchup of the NFL. So I think I'm going to rock with that mindset.
Spencer Rattler, I think the first time ever in NFL history to a starting quarterback to lose his first 9 starts, I want to say, is what I read.
Not good.
Kellen Moore, what were you thinking, man? I know you wanted to be the head coach of an NFL franchise. We were saying it then, and I'm saying it even louder now. This was a mistake, and it's not going to work out for him down there. Keep it moving. Let's talk about the Panthers and the Patriots. Patriots opened up as a 3.5-point favorite, bumped up to 5.5. Panthers showing some life. Big time victory over the Falcons where they lumped them 30-0. Got to give them some credit there. They're catching 5.5 on the road against New England. Your thoughts?
I think I'm riding with my Carolina Panthers here.
I know.
Finally, Bryce Young, show me a little something. I didn't think it was a spectacular game by him, but I have as much Bryce Young stock as anyone could possibly own. I got to recoup my investment somehow. And the New Orleans Patriots, man, are we sure that Drake maybe is the guy? That can he be that type of guy? The interception I did not like. I am enjoying the new nickname of Drake maybe. I'm going to rock with that a little bit there. I think the Patriots maybe we put the cart before the horse a little bit too much. They're still not that great of a football game. They can be sneaky on a week-to-week basis, but I'm taking the Panthers to cause a little bit of trouble in this one.
Yeah, look, they lost to the Raiders. That tells you a little bit to open up the season. Vrabel was really giving the game away down the stretch. They have a lot of holes, offensive line, defensive line. Who's the number 1 receiver for?
Should be Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, come on, man.
It hasn't looked good.
Yeah, but Diggs is not a number 1 at this point in time in his career. He wasn't, like we saw him play last year, right? Like he just clearly is not the same guy that he once was. I mean, he's up there. He's up there in age.
Yeah.
He's partying on a boat with pink stuff, Cardi B. That's his life right now. He's ready to ride off into the sunset. But
did you see his quote about having the kid with Cardi B too?
Something like, yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like
man.
your child.
People just,
I heard that.
I guess the bank account is saying a lot, and Cardi B has a lot. He has a lot. I don't know. God bless him. I hope they're happy. With that being said, though, if you made me make a pick right now, that is a lot of points, 5.5. I'd be really interested to see Carolina come kickoff. Hopefully money continues to come into Patriots. We'll continue to look at that one. Commanders and Falcons, 1:00 kick on Sunday. Commanders, they are on the road here. 3.5-point favorites opened. Marcus Mariota looked pretty good. Nothing too crazy, but in the world of fantasy, he threw up some points. I know he was a top 5 quarterback this week.
Yeah.
They are now a 1.5 favorite, so I assume no Jaden Daniels again this week.
Yeah, it does seem like they're playing it conservative there, and given the track record of, quarterbacks in the Commanders organization, the RG3 throwback rings in everyone's mind. I do think it is the safe choice there. I will say that last week, for all the excitement I've had about the Atlanta Falcons, that was a performance that straight up made me rethink how I view this team.
Same.
Getting 30-0 against the Carolina Panthers is not just a wash your hands and move on kind of performance. That is a reevaluate everything type of chance there. And Marcus Mariota looked like he was feeling himself a little bit last week. He was getting mobile. He was taking on the run himself. I was encouraged by what I saw. So I think I'm taking a full step back off my Atlanta Falcons hype train and probably back in the Commanders for this specific matchup.
Yeah, I was hopeful that somebody would dethrone the Tampa Bay Bucks in that division. There was only one team that I could find myself backing. It was the Falcons, and it's not looking good. Although they did play well in that week 1 matchup against the Bucks, but they ended up coming up small and losing 30-0 to the Carolina Panthers.
It's embarrassing.
That was awful. So a lot of question marks happening right now down there in Atlanta.
They've got some dudes on that roster too, man.
They got great players across the board. You're right. Browns and the Lions. This one's a 10.5-point spread, opened up on Sunday night. Now we're looking at 9-point spread. Lions at home, favored by 9 at most shops, taking on a pesky Cleveland Brown team. Joe Flacco getting the job done, but come on, man, it's the defense. Defense is really good. Of course, Myles Garrett's chasing you down. That's going to shock a lot of systems out there as far as quarterbacks are concerned. A 9-point spread, though, one too many for your liking. What's this one telling you?
Yeah, a little too much on the number for my liking. I like Cleveland to keep it a game and cover. I do put a little bit of weight in the victory over the Packers. Obviously, sticking in the same division, now taking on the Lions this week. And I think like there are some weaknesses that can be exposed on Detroit. I do think that this Cleveland defense is the real deal that's going to impose itself in this matchup. I think Detroit finds a way to win a game, but 9 points just a little bit too much for my liking. I'm back in Cleveland to be a little bit one of these spread ruiner type teams for the remainder of the year.
All right, we're talking about teams that are disappointing with the Atlanta Falcons. Right next to them on that list, the Houston Texans. Oof. Wow. 0-3 versus 0-3 Texans and Titans game being played in Houston. This one opened up at 5.5. Who are the Houston Texans to be given a touchdown to? They're now 7-point favorites. Yeah, Titans are pretty bad. So I would take the Texans in some way in this game, but I'm not comfortable laying a touchdown here. What's this one telling you?
Yeah, I'm taking the Titans to cover as well. And the Texans offensive line is just straight up non-existent, man. Like CJ Stroud out there running for his life. He doesn't have a second to think with the football. And he just has not looked like the right version of himself either. I give him the benefit of the doubt because of the offensive line, but we're getting pretty close to needing to have a legitimate CJ Stroud conversation there. So the 7 points is just too much for my liking. I don't think that the Texans should be a whole touchdown favorite against any team in the NFL. And while the Titans aren't good, I think there's enough level of competence there that they'll at least keep this a game. I like what I've seen from Cam Ward, even though the numbers have not necessarily been there yet. There's enough talent there that I'm comfortable laying the 7.
Yeah, it's crazy because they do have that. They do have a great defense. I'm not afraid to say it. I think the Houston Texans have a great defense.
No more CJ Gardner-Johnson, by the way.
Yeah, that's interesting. That happened on my way in, and you said it to me when we sat down. What exactly was the reason for termination?
Fracture in the locker room, I believe, was one of the phrases from the reporters out there, which seems on brand.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me the least bit. Would you pick him up if you're Howie Roseman?
I feel like he's got to be such a nightmare to deal with, man. Like that's kind of where I'm at with things. Howie said he's had enough of him twice. He brought him in for the first Super Bowl run, and CJ was a terrific football player.
He was incredible. He was the only guy that made an interception, I think, last year.
Yeah. By the way, we do have a little bit more notable breaking news that just popped across. This coming from Adam Schefter here. That Oklahoma quarterback John Mateer will undergo surgery Wednesday to address a right hand injury he sustained against Auburn. Venables said the expectation is Mateer will return to action at some point this season. There goes the Heisman.
Straight wow.
Up. Yeah.
What? I didn't even know he got hurt.
I didn't either. Surgery to address a right hand injury. So it doesn't even say what the issue is exactly.
Whoa. That is brutal.
That's a big deal.
Oh, yeah, because they were playing great.
Yeah, he's the Heisman favorite, has been for several weeks now.
Correct. Well, just the way that they were able to find a way to win that game against Auburn and cover the number, which was very unfortunate. But Oklahoma was putting it together to the point that, you look down their schedule, and that's the difficult part about trying to find who's going to win the conference and do more. It's just, there's a lot of football to be played. And yeah, you look down the list of SEC teams, and it seems like LSU still has Alabama, and Tennessee has to play this team, and Ole Miss is on everybody's schedule. So it's like, I can't sit here and tell you that I think Oklahoma is going to win the conference, but I will tell you that they have had the look so far in some pretty big games. Michigan and Auburn, those were both big victories. And, oh, by the way, coming on the road and defeating Temple the way that they did, they deserve a lot of credit. Putting a team away that you're better than they are. So coming on the road at noon kickoff on the East Coast, I didn't think that was a ho-hum game, and they slaughtered them. So that is a monster loss. Of course, he's the Heisman favorite, as you said, and Oklahoma playing for potentially winning the SEC if they were able to continue their winning ways. That's a tough loss, man. That sucks.
Yeah, that is a conference or really college football changing kind of injury there. And I can't find any sort of information for what the specific injury is, at least that has come out yet. That obviously very much depends on what the timeline is. They said they expect him to return at some point this season, but that's not exactly convincing for that will be in the short term by any means. So it's definitely something to note there.
Yeah, that's a fractured hand or something that he couldn't throw the football with. And he said, you know what, it's not worthwhile to allow this to heal over the next 2 weeks. So get in there and get it fixed. He must have, thrown a football and hit a helmet or something, or got tackled and, just anything. Yeah, I'm clearly speculating, but if he didn't need surgery, he wouldn't be getting surgery.
Right.
That's
definitely not right now.
No.
Like when you're in the hunt for it, when you're the Heisman favorite, when the team is playing at the level, you avoid at all costs if you can. So obviously something pretty significant.
I wonder what he got paid this offseason. Let's keep it moving here. And let's talk about the Chargers and the Giants. Jackson Dart, come on down. This would be an interesting game here. 3.5. Chargers at home. They opened up the favorite up to 6.5 right now. 6.5. Not that much line movement with the announcement that Jackson Dart replacing Russell Wilson, either a rookie quarterback in his first start on. No, this is a home game. Excuse me. Giants are home, correct?
Not sure.
Yeah, Giants are home. So this is a home game for Jackson Dart. Tough game against the Chargers, though, because you're going to have to match up with that offense. 6.5 right now. What's that line telling you?
Yeah, the 3.5 would have absolutely stunned me. So not surprised to see that number move pretty significantly. I still think 6.5 is a little bit light, to be perfectly honest. This is a quarterback being thrown to the fire for the first time. And that Chargers defense is the real deal, man. That I think that is the storyline to watch in this game is how does Jackson Dart hang in there against what is truly one of the better defenses in the entire NFL. So I do think the Chargers roll in this one. I do think they cover the -6.5. And I think that New York is kind of heading towards disaster a little bit this year. They've played the emergency button of provide some excitement, put us on the right path. Well, it feels a little bit early to be playing that card.
I mean, there was way too much conversation on my timeline about an 0-3 team. Oh, by the way, both New York teams 0-3. 0-6 between those two teams. Disaster over there in the Meadowlands. Let's keep it moving. Like I said, enough about the Giants. Jags and Niners. Niners opened up 5.5-point favorites, now 3-point favorites. So money coming in on the Jags here. What's the latest with Brock Purdy?
I do not know exactly that. I know that it was a chance that he could play, that he has not been ruled out yet.
He could return as a starter, so we don't know, but this is a good time to check in. Mac Jones has played okay. They found a way to win that game against the Cardinals. Tough division battle, but it's looking like Purdy will return. If that's the case, he'll be back in there on Sunday.
Yeah, most likely there. And I will say, Mac Jones, what a seamless transition to like the entertaining backup quarterback. That's just kind of who he is. I was watching his press conference this week, and he was talking about the pick he threw, and they're like, what kind of play did he make, or did the defender make, or that you weren't expecting? I mean, he was like, yeah, I mean, good for him. I threw it right at him. So it was my fault there, which I kind of appreciated. But yeah, nonetheless, I do think that I have concerns about both these teams. I don't buy that the 49ers are legitimate contenders in the way that coming into the season. I also think Jacksonville has some real issues, that Trevor Lawrence has yet to impress me. I even think in a week like last week where CJ Stroud came up looking like the bigger loser of things for what his performance looked like. But Lawrence had some misses too, man. The footwork is sloppy. The receivers don't look to be on the same page as him. I would, from a betting perspective, bang the under for this game, that I don't see a lot of points coming on. If you made me pick a side, it's probably Jacksonville, but very narrow in that.
Yeah, look, no Bosa either for the 49ers. That's going to be so deflating for that defense. A tough loss. Colts and Rams. Let's get to the 4 o'clock window, although the Jags and 49ers were 4 o'clock as well. Colts and Rams also in the 4 o'clock window. Rams at home opened up to 6.5, now 3.5-point favorites. Money coming in on Danny Dimes, Indiana Jones, whatever you got to say. This Colts team undefeated. Are they for real?
I think it's time to start talking about Daniel Jones as an MVP candidate, Sean.
Stop it.
Hey, we're going to base everything off 3 games here. Daniel Jones, top 5 quarterback in the league.
You won't let me say that about Justin Herbert, but you're going to say it about Daniel Jones, who beat the Tennessee Titans and the Miami Dolphins?
Well, that's my point here, that we're reacting to 3 games. I'll take Daniel Jones. Like, he's been unbelievable. And I will say, like, as much as I'm saying this in jest right now, some of the throws that he's making, I didn't think that was in Daniel Jones' bag. I did not think these were like.
Calm down.
I mean,
calm down. What throws?
Some impressive throws.
How many times has he thrown for 2 touchdowns in the game this year?
Let's check the stats.
Not once.
Is that for sure true?
Yes. He's got an unbelievable run game with Jonathan Taylor. Great defense. Look, Daniel Jones, I get it. He's playing a lot better than what I gave him credit for. But come on.
He's also got 3 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
So he's got 6 touchdowns total. I count him the same.
All right. So do you think that this is as successful as Minnesota was last year with Sam Darnold and what they were able to do? Because that was a team that we never wanted to give credit. And then all of a sudden at the end of the season, they're playing for the division and everything was there at their disposal. Of course, they came up small, but that's Sam Darnold. Is that what you're saying right now about the Indianapolis Colts? Because I can't get there yet. I just can't.
I'm viewing Daniel Jones in the light that I think we viewed the Baker Mayfields, the Geno Smiths, the guys that like did not get it right at the first location. It has passed the eye test to me. And the other part that like I'll note for this is hilarious to me that for the entire tenure of him in New York, we talked about Daniel Jones going to get DeBull fired here. He might get him fired while he's in Indianapolis for what he looks like now.
Yeah, it's look, I am not rooting against Daniel Jones, and hell, man, I'm with the Colts. I love the Irsay, I love the daughters on the sideline. I think that's hysterical. I love it. It's great. Not hysterical, excuse me, but the bottom line is these girls are running the operation. They got the earpiece in there. She's trying to learn. It's great. Love it. And they're putting it together. I'm just not buying it right now. I'm not buying it, but it won't shock me if we're talking about this 2-3 weeks from now. And I'm like, all right, I was wrong. Bears and Raiders. Let's keep it moving. 1.5. Bears favored to open up. They are now holding steady. Let's just say a point. Sorry, I need my glasses.
You're good. I'll go.
No. So it's flipped. Bears opened up as a 1.5 favorite. There's one shop. This is crazy. There's one shop, two shops out there that still are holding steady as a point favorite. The majority, though, are looking at 1.5. They're now a 1.5 dog. Raiders are favored at home.
I like the Raiders to get the outright win here, and I'll take the point if I need to. I think this is a nice letdown spot for the Bears, that it felt like things finally went right in the direction that they needed, that they did essentially blow out the Cowboys last week. The Caleb Williams having a little bit of stuff to build off. Ben Johnson getting his first career win as a head coach there. I think this Raiders team's completely competent. I don't think we've seen Geno Smith really play well at all yet. I think he puts things together a little bit this week, and I'm still skeptical of Chicago in the wider scheme of things. So give me the Raiders. I think this is a letdown spot for the Bears.
Ravens and Chiefs. We talked about this game already. It opened up a 1.5 for Kansas City. Now Baltimore favored by 2.5. Where are you at, Sean?
I'm torn because I loved what JP said about like the concerns with the Chiefs offense. And I do think that's very true, that there really is not anything sustainable. And if you do want to look at this Ravens team, that's exactly what they do have. When you have Derrick Henry, when you have Lamar Jackson and ways to get production on that side of the ball here, at the same time, this becomes a one possession game. There's no doubt in my mind that Patrick Mahomes is going to come for the throat and find a way to get the job done here. I think that's where I'm at, that I think the Chiefs find a way to win, even if they are not the better team on paper.
All right, next game up. How about this one? Would you like to have Green Bay on the road -1.5? Now up to 7. Opened at 1.5, up to 7, taking on the Cowboys here. Dallas +7 at home.
Wow, I'm surprised by that level of line movement. I still think I'm laying the 6.5 in favor of the Packers here. There's a real world where we're talking about this Dallas Cowboys team as like a top 5 pick kind of team.
Absolutely.
They are heading down that pathway for the season. The defense is non-existent. The running game is non-existent. The production across the board just not good enough. And I think Green Bay, this could be an inspired performance after losing on the block against the Browns last week. We build them up to be legitimate contenders. It's on them this week to prove that that is the case.
CeeDee Lamb will be out. That's a huge deal. No offense for the Cowboys across the board with him out, not out on the field for them, so I can understand it. Oh, by the way, Micah Parsons wreaking havoc. Yeah, I could get behind the pack on that one as well, but I would love to be given a 1.5 instead of 7. And then we go to Monday Night Football. 2 for a rapid fire. Jets and Dolphins, 5.5-point favorites now to 3. And the Cincinnati Bengals and Broncos in the nightcap. Broncos 2.5 up to 7 right now. Sean Barnard, give me one here.
Yeah, give me the Jets on the money line for those +130 odds I'm seeing right there. The Miami Dolphins stink, man. I don't understand that line. Give me the Jets. And to give the bonus pick as well, I do think Denver, a little bit of a blowout here. 7.5, I'll lay the number.
Woo!